有啊，叫到出去你哪子？我那个你就去那里。有啊，可是我没有啊，你也不能了，也不能手机的，可是什么？这最近呀，这最近没到的也是了，这最近没到的也是呀，这最近没到的也是个是，现在有没有说就多少？有把也，这最近也是没到的也是有把也没行，就多少？这最近没到的现在有没行？呀，你看嘛说的，呀，你看个天天嘛说啥？好吧。
This is kind of like a situation room, right? Today.
When we arrived India?
6.
As a group altogether?
These are all members of the organization.
Museum. Today. What is it? So far, which places you visited?
Just Delhi and Dharamsala.
From here, where to go? Here in Dharamsala, which places you visited? Which centers?
We went to Tibet Children's Village, Kanchi and Yukon. And then we had a reception at the Tibet House for the Auditorium officials. And
the medical center?
Medical center was
I see.
Sunday to we went to a special program to Kolkata.
Could you name? The medical center facility?
This afternoon. I'm going to go this afternoon.
가. 지금 나오고 좀 그래 말봐. 뒤에 하늘 채식이 엄청 가야 돼. No. Anything you want to discuss?
Anybody?
Any question?
Your Holiness, we were so moved by your visit and touched by your visit to Santa Fe earlier this year. Our community was brought together in a way that it had never been brought together before. And we hope that you'll be able to return in 1993. And we have learned a great deal about the infrastructure of the Tibetan government in exile and some of the remarkable achievements in exile of your people. And I think it has made all of us much more able to advocate for the cause of the Tibetan people. And it's been a very important visit for us, and we really have appreciated the opportunity. And Paljor has been very responsible for us becoming involved in the Tibetan issue. Great honor.
Thank you. Very good. Very good.
I have a question I was asked by Gagan Gill, the literary editor of the Daily Observer, to ask Your Holiness. She is very concerned about a former statement that Your Holiness made that the 14th Dalai Lama may be the last Dalai Lama. She feels that this is not one man leaving us, but this is Chenritse, the compassionate spirit of Buddha, who leaves us. And she wondered if that position is still operative, or if, like the 5-point peace plan, it can be moved aside now.
Now, actually, what I meant, you see, is some kind of, I think, like clarification. You know, you see, our struggle is not for how to say, the restoration of old system. The Chinese side, they
misinterpret.
Mari.
Distort.
Yes, distort. Those Tibetans who are carrying some you see work in the name of a Tibetan issue. You see, this nothing except the wanting restoration about the old system. And for that, you see, here, you see, we sincerely concerned about the Tibetan nation. The last, now say, I think, last 32 years, I never how to say, mention or state we are anti-communism. Even, you see, we are against the Chinese brutality or Chinese unequal sort of treatment. We are not against Chinese people or Chinese culture or even the revolution or communism. So you see, we simply concerned about the Tibetan nation, its culture, its right. So therefore, naturally, the future Tibet will be new Tibet. So for that reason, I made these are from time to time. These are my expression. I myself was not at all concerned about even the institution of Dalai Lama. The soul of Tibetan people want this institution; it will remain. When Tibetan people feel this is not much, useful or not much,
Not much relevant.
Then that institution automatically will cease. In such case, I will be the last Dalai Lama. So just I made that that kind of statement.
But it's not a flat
You
statement.
know, 1969 is one formal my statement, I stated that the institution of Dalai Lama may or may not continue, depend on wishes of Tibetan people. So that's the thing. Then again, and also you see one purpose for that statement is some other people you see feel that the Dalai Lama institution is almost like a symbol of Tibet and also a symbol of Tibetan religion or Buddhism. That's also not the case. The Dalai Lama institution, the recent, you see, so the recent century, and particularly these period, almost like a symbol of Tibet and a symbol of Tibetan Buddhism. And in reality, not that case. The Tibetan nation is more than 4,000-6,000 years. And Buddhism also, the Tibetan Buddhism also is since developed or since flourished Buddhism in Tibet now more than 1,000 years. Since 7th century, Buddhism came to Tibet and flourished. And Dalai Lama institution only lasts about 400 years. And since 5th Dalai Lama, this kind of institution, which the leader of both spiritual as well as temporal, only lasts 300 years. Right, 300 years. So in the future also, the Dalai Lama institution at certain time may not exist, but Tibetan nation, that does not mean the Tibetan nation end or Tibetan Buddhism end. So this is one thing. So then, as far as you see, of course, the reincarnation or manifestation of jealousy, manifestation of our local Ishvara, of course, whether there is Dalai Lama institution or not, the manifestation of millions of dollars as a manifestation in the past, at present, in the future, always there. We believe like that. So my own rebirth case. Of course, my rebirth, nobody can stop. Somewhere. That is my, one favorite sort of, the prayer that the Shantadeva, the Shantadeva, the Indian Pandit, in his, book, last chapter, he mentioned one verses, that something like this. So long space remain there, so long as the sentient beings there, I will remain in order to serve for them. Right. So that is the short verses. For me, that really gives me some kind of inner strength. So not question of just one lifetime or one life, 100 life, but even not one eon or 10 eons or 100 eons, but infinite. So that really gives me some inner strength or determination. So my rebirth, although still I have no control, I have no power to control whether it is my rebirth in hell or in heaven, I don't know. Most probably in hell.
No, we can hazard a guess.
It would be very disturbing.
So anyway, you say somewhere my rebirth will be always successful. Always there. That I really is determined. So I appreciate your enthusiasm to do something for Tibet, for Tibetan nation. I very much appreciate. Now this is the critical time. In the sense, it's both sides. One side, the critical, because the Chinese government, so when they losing their self-confidence, now they are relying more and more using force. In Tibet also, now last few months, now they intensified their using force, and also the increasing their number of policemen as well as a commando type of police. And even in prison, when it's a prisoner, some some form of resistance will happen immediately, without any question, just as beating, violence, torture. And therefore, it's a very, very severe and very, very critical. In that sense, also very critical. We need very much for outside voice, outside help. Then, on the other hand, other aspect, and the entire the European communist system is collapsed. Also, the itself, you see, noble communist country, communist party, communist power, they are so obviously. Although now, you see, the Vietnam and North Korea and China, now they got some kind of, I think, new period or new era, see, close work, some kind of unity, some kind of unity, special relation. But mainly it's China. The other two, not much importance. So the Chinese case, you know, in 1979, when democracy war, so then clearly demonstrated the public sort of resentment towards Chinese communism, towards Chinese Communist Party, and the government controlled by Chinese Communist Party, and they cracked down. And then among the students in 86, 87, the demonstrations started to happen very obviously, and then finally 89 at the Tiananmen Square event happened. Now, the last month in New York, I met one important Chinese dissident who now residing in America, I think last 1 year. Kazakh musician, I forgot his name, the former correspondent of People's Daily. He is quite important person and quite well known. And I invited him. I told him, I know among the intellectuals as well as the students, at least who have some knowledge about outside world, about the value of democracy and these things. They resented Chinese Communist Party, Chinese communism. There's no doubt. But the majority of Chinese peasants who live in countryside, whether there's democracy or not, their daily life not much differences. But the only concern is their daily food and clothes. Even there is democracy, they have not much concern. Not much concern, not much benefit. So these people, they comparatively, the last few decades under the communist system, some form of guarantee is there. So I asked particularly to that person, I doubt, among the peasant, the larger portion may support the Chinese Communist Party. And according to him, no. Even among the peasant, the last few decades, there's so much the disturbances and so much of the suffering. So therefore, even among the peasant, the majority are completely lost their faith towards communism. That's his assessment. I think that his assessment should be, I think, correct. He's quite
he's quite well informed about the happenings and situation in China. It takes keen interest.
So therefore, alongside the international communism is failing, in China proper, at least it's a larger portion of the people, they resented or lost their faith towards their own government. So therefore, there is real hope now. So from that viewpoint also now, this is the really critical one, critical. In the positive sense, it's also is critical. Now something is now almost you see because of that. The time for ripening. And from both sides, both views, it's negative, there's a lot of torture, there's a lot of restrictions, and great hope. So both cases, I think this is now really the most critical period. So another, I think, next, I think, for 5 years will be critical. Then I think we will have one time because of that great
so that we can breathe slowly and relax.
This I feel after 5 years, I think. So next few years, no time to breathing because of leisurely rest. They have to work in the heart. I feel.
Your Holiness, did our President offer you any expression of support when you met him in Washington, or are you able to say?
Well, my meeting with President, very, very pleasant. Very good one. Now, as soon as we settled down on chair, he immediately asked me about the situation inside Tibet, about Tibet, with great concern and sympathy, of course. And then I explained about the background situation, including Tibetan history and Tibetan culture and these things briefly, and then the current situation about the human rights violation and Chinese population transfer, and great danger to great danger for Tibetan culture, Tibetan civilization, which is some potential to contribute for benefit for humanity. So I explained it briefly like that. So he listened with great interest, great concern. Then actually, I did not ask him some specifics, sort of specific help. After all these explanations, I simply asked him, please keep in your mind, it's our issue. And then afterwards, I asked him, I would like to meet him alone. And he showed some kind of, I think, very positive sort of reaction. And he left another room. Then we two alone. And I expressed some personal feeling. I do off record. Before the meeting took place, I thought, the president of big country, maybe a kind of politician, which you see quite often you see very cold feeling. It's not much human feeling. But then actual meeting took place, not that kind. He really is showing the deep human feeling. That I very much impressed and also I very much appreciated. In the past, sometimes I read this is some politician, whether in government, whether in power or not, some politician like that. So when when some meeting, a few occasions, you see, from their side, at a certain point they wanted to tell me, you see, then of course they told me, and then when I explained about my view, then very often go sleep. There's no feeling at all. But then sometimes
We met them too.
oh yes.
Your Holiness, we did an ecology conference in New Mexico just last month, and Tenzin Atisha was there. So
No, I see.
we flew him in from Washington, D.C., and we learned a lot about the environmental destruction taking place in Tibet. And one thing that was discussed was the United Nations meeting in Brazil on the environment this coming June 1992. Is there something that you are hoping to see come out of that United Nations conference on the environment relative to Tibet?
From the United Nations.
Yes, from
I
that
think
meeting.
difficult.
You think it's difficult?
Because Chinese influence.
It's very strong in the United
Yes.
Nations.
Yeah.
What do you think environmental organizations in the United States can do to help? Without the land, we understand that the culture would be very difficult to sustain in Tibet.
Environment also. Then now there is some organization. I think already is visited Tibet, and also you see our Chinese government about it, they are concerned about the environment. That kind of also they show to the Chinese, you see your deep concern about environment in Tibet. That you can do, and that's very important for the time being. And I think they worthwhile to ask Chinese, you see, some people from your organizations want to go to Tibet and want to see. See, I mean, constantly ask.
Constantly bother them.
Bother them, yes. That's the thing. That's useful. Perhaps you already may know. You know, you see, according to some scientists, you see, Tibet, because of its dry climate, and large part of Tibet is a dry climate and high altitude. Therefore, once you damage done, then in order to restore, it takes longer period. This is one thing. Then second thing, if you see the usually you see Tibetan plateau or many areas of Tibet, this is some form of the trees or bush or something, some vegetation. Then you see the snowfall, at least you see on those